Hey guys, this is Grace and welcome to my channel. We are on our first process video for my latest 10 handmade cards, 1 homemade kit, and let's dive into card number 1. So with this one, I wanted to combine the pattern papers that I have and also use the stamp. So I'm pulling out the word happy, and my plan is that I will kind of create my own pattern paper and make this a floral print by adding the stamps. So I used a lot of stamps here because a lot of inks here because the stamp is one of those layering stamps, and so it's really fun. And I believe I got the stamp maybe even 2 years ago or a year ago, but having or using it for this particular homemade kit really reminded me of how much I love this small but really powerful stamp set. And this is from Pink Fresh Studio, by the way. So I'm using the green, and let me just tell you all of the colors that I used here, and they're all the distress mini ink pads because that's what I have in my stash. So I used crushed olives, shabby shutters, abandoned coral, pickled raspberry, shattered straw, spiced marmalade, tumbled glass, and blueprint sketch. So basically I was using two colors or two different hues of a color. So if it's blue, I have a lighter blue and a darker blue, yellow the same, the green the same, and the pink kind of the same. So I have, all in all, I think I used 8 colors. And I have a lot of scraps from this paper stack, and so I started off with just cutting 4 of them into these rectangles, and then that's going to be my background. And if you want to see the papers or the items that I pulled out for this particular homemade card kit, make sure that you check out the video just before this because I did a video showing just the products that I plan on using for this. And the cardstocks that I had picked for this particular kit was turned into the card bases. So with this particular card, I am using the kind of mustard yellow one, and I'm also using the striped pattern paper, and that would be kind of the background or in between paper for my cardstock and then the background. So I also added some foam adhesives to the different letters so that they will stand out a little bit more. And I picked that blue cardstock, the dark blue one, because that matched the plaid paper that I have on the right side of my card, and that's basically gonna do it. I did add For You on there and also some of the rhinestones, and then because I had some scraps, I did decorate the inside. And I had thought that I would decorate all of the insides, but turn out I just did the first one because I totally forgot. And these cards took me a while to create. I think it took me like maybe 3 to 4 days, and that is because I just have a hard time finding time lately of just a big bulk of time to just create. I started going back to work, and I am a substitute teacher now. If you have been following me, you know that last year I graduated, got my degree, and so kind of my stepping stone to going back into full-time job was to take on this part-time subbing job. But fortunately I am getting a lot of sub jobs, and so that means that my crafting has kind of gone on the wayside. But I do hope that I will be able to film a few more videos that I wanted to do in the summertime. So with this second one, I am doing the rectangular design again, but this time I used my tag die to create the tag accents on the top. So what I do, and I'm sure you have seen this done on YouTube, was that if you have a die like a tag die and you just wanted like parts of it to be cut, you just basically put the part that you want to cut on the cutting plate, and then the rest will be off the cutting plate, and that will prevent it from cutting the whole thing. So that's what I did here, and then I did have to trim this a little bit. Now with the thanks word, I colored that in with just 2 colors, and that is the Shabby Shutters and the Mermaid Lagoon, because I kind of wanted, at first I wanted to do kind of an ombre look, but I thought that the 2 color scheme would look really fresh and just different for me anyways. And then I noticed that when I was coloring it and then I put it against the pattern paper background, that it wasn't standing out very well. And so I did get my Tombow marker, black marker, and just run the sides of it just to give it a little bit of shadow, and so that it will stand out. And then I'm just going to be putting the card together. I did use one of my white cardstock as my card base for this, and it will be a vertical card. Now, as you can see, I'm using my, I don't know, my metal picker. I don't know what that's called. I have one of those Making Memories metal kit that has a bunch of tools in it. If you've been scrapbooking for a long time, you know what I'm talking about. But it has this picker, and because I don't have very long nails, that's what I use to help me with the pulling out my adhesives, and this just seems to be working for me. Now, initially I thought that maybe I could add fun foam or foam adhesive to each of the letters just so that it will stand out, but me doing the black marker just did it, made it stand out already. So I felt like I could make this a little less dimensional, but I did add these twines on the top of the tag because I feel like a tag won't be complete without a little string on top of it, or a finishing touch on top of the whole. And so that will be the dimension that I would add to this, as well as some of these rhinestones. I thought at first that I will put some glue dots just to kind of hold those tags in place, but really when I take a picture of it and then kind of lay it on my desk, it doesn't really move that much, so I didn't bother adding any glue dots to the tags, or to the twine rather. Okay, so now we are on card number 3, and if you're new to my channel or new to this series, basically I just pull out some items from my stash, and then I create my own card kit and make 10 handmade cards out of it. And so I divide the videos because they are kind of long, and so I would do the first 5 cards for this first video, and then if you are not subscribed, please do consider subscribing, because I will show, so you will be notified when I make the second video go live. So for this third one, what I wanted to try was to create a pattern on my letters, but using the background stamp that I picked to pull, or that I pulled to use for this particular homemade card kit. And so I'm using my Fiskars. I haven't used this acrylic block in a long time, but I thought that it would be useful to make sure that the letters don't move. And as you can notice, in the past 3 cards I use a scrap of paper, and I just use some removable adhesive from Glue Dots, and then just add the adhesive to the paper and then put my letters on there, and it helps to keep that in place when I'm coloring, or also when I'm stamping like this one. I want the images to kind of line up, and so it just helps. And again, I grab my Tombow black marker and just kind of run the sides of it just to give it a little bit more emphasis against the busy background. Now, in this card, I am using the green cardstock as my card base. And I'm sorry, my computer is making too much noise. I don't know how to fix that right now. But anyways, I also cut out the heart die, the very intricate heart die from one of the 6x6 papers. Now, what I do usually, if there was a pattern that I don't care for, usually they are only single-sided, so I would use the back side as kind of like my quote-unquote white cardstock, and that's what I did with this. Now, because the heart was very intricate, I decided to adhere that with just some spray adhesive, and I have one from, I think it's Aleene's tacky spray adhesive. So I've had that in my stash for a while, and so that's kind of what I've just been using. And I don't know why I blew on that. But anyways, so, and I also pulled out from my stash my favorite scallop circle nested die from Spellbinders, and also my nested circle die from My Favorite Things, and that's what I used to cut those pattern papers that is now housing my title. I did decide to add some foam adhesive to the letters just to make it stand out, and then I have this letter or phrase sticker sheet from, I think it's Freckled Fawn, because I do scrapbook as well, and it just had a sentiment that I thought would work well for the hugs. And also I'm adding some more rhinestones because why not, right? And so that will be card number 3. And then card number 4. So with this one, my idea was to use all of those branding strips that is part of this kit. Now, this paper pad that I have is from Pebbles. So I don't think all of the 6x6 that are out there have pattern on the branding strip, but a lot of the American Crafts umbrella, or the companies within American Crafts umbrella, it has the branding strip. That's kind of like their signature, I should say. But anyways, I wanted to use all of that up because why not, right? So I decided to cut them, and I'm gonna use them as a vertical strip, and that will be the background of this. Now I have already added some color to my sentiment, which is friend. I did use, what did I use here? I used just one ink, and that is a Blueprint Sketch. And then I also kind of sprayed it with some Maya Road sparkler mist, and so it has a little bit of shine on there. Now initially I just wanted a friend to go across, but then I noticed that there's a lot of space in between, so I'm going to actually move the words on towards the right, and then I'm going to put something on the left there to complete my card sentiment. And I also used a black cardstock just to make it stand out. Now as you can see, the branding strip has a lot of the punched circle holes on the center of them, because that's to help to for shelving these paper pads in like stores like Michael's and Joann's, and I wanted to hide that, and I just placed my sentiment strip onto that so that it will cover the circles. And then I used my small, I believe this is a Dear Lizzie mini letter or alpha sticker, and I just spelled my dear friend. And then because there was a space between the my and the edge of the card, that I decided to stamp just a yellow flower on there and then finish it off with a rhinestone. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to card number 5. So with this one, I've already colored the hello, and then I've also cut out the part of the heart die cut. And my thought on this was that initially I had thought that maybe I could adhere the kind of intricate heart over the word hello just to kind of give it some design. But I've noticed that when I did that, it was just kind of, I don't know, I lost the letters of it. So instead of putting it on top, I decided to just put it on the background, and I'm finding some cardstock that will work well to kind of back up or to put behind that intricate paper. And so I decided to go with purple just because the pattern paper that I did decide to use as a background was purple, and so I wanted to kind of pull from that. I will be using 3 tags for this. As you can see, I'm putting them here, so I'm just kind of seeing how they would all look together. I did cut that die cut with the specific tag die that I have pulled for this sketch, and I believe that is from Doris. So here I am again adding my tacky spray, and I'm going to put that on top of the cardstock, and we'll just trim it to match my card base. I also realized that when I did that, it was just it was missing something. I don't know, my eye just kind of has this formula that I look for when it comes to creating something, and then if there's no barrier between the background and the foreground, I feel like it's kind of missing something. And so I will actually be looking for another piece of purple cardstock, but in a different tone or hue, and then we'll put that behind the dark purple cardstock and in between all of the pattern papers. And so I'm just kind of looking how my design is going, and I like how it looks. And then I'm going to kind of see how my letters are going to look on there as well. And then I will be adhering all of that. See, here I am kind of putting something in between because I feel like there needs to be a barrier between all those patterns. And then I will go with this lighter violet or purple shade, I should say. So now I'm going to be adhering that, and I will adhere the letters as well, and I'm going to add that with some foam adhesive, and then finish off the card by adding something to the tags, because like I said earlier, it just seems like it's not complete without something with the holes on the tags. So there you have it. Like I said, if you guys are interested in seeing the rest of the cards that I created, make sure that you subscribe, and if you have any questions, make sure that you leave them in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys another day. Bye.